Speaking of Dylan, his pick for this week was the 2006 film Happy Feet, which I guess, Nico, you can give the explanation of.
Are you sure you don't want our special guest Tanichi to talk about it?
No, I think he's a little bit, there's some poison in the pond if he were to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alright, so Happy Feet. Happy Feet is a film about emperor penguins. They're up in the Antarctica or some fucking bullshit, and they love to sing. And so our main character's father has him as a little egg, but he drops him as an egg, which causes him not to sing, but instead he is a dancer, which is a gay allegory. And throughout the film, he's trying to come out to his father and the rest of society, but they just won't take it, so they fucking cast him out as he goes and tries to find humanity, the aliens, as it were, in hopes that they can help their family get some fucking fish. And he gets abducted and does some little tippity taps for the aliens, and they like it so much they send him back to the Antarctica, where he teaches everyone to dance.
And my haiku, as inspired by Happy Feet, all penguins can sing. Mumble has a birth defect. The funny birds dance.
So like that's one thing that was fucking me up throughout the whole movie. Is his name Mumble?
Yeah.
I thought it was like Mambo or something.
No, it's Mumble.
What a horrible name.
Tanichi, how'd you like Happy Feet, dude?
This movie's fucking awful. The gay allegory doesn't make sense because he steals some dude's woman.
Well, that's because you're not looking at it as an allegory, Tinichi. I personally think this movie is not a gay allegory. I think it is an anti-religion propaganda film.
There we go.
And there's a lot of things you can take away, right? So, you see the scenes of them, like, worshiping their god. You see the dad is, like, thinking about his mom at that instance, which is, he's not paying attention to God during their ceremony. And because of that, his child has fallen. His child is a heretic. He is opposite of what their religious society wants them to do. They all sing. That's a big part of them. Their souls find their soulmates. What they're singing. He doesn't have that. He's missing a part of himself. He's not one of the tribe.
Is Mumble a Christ figure?
Is he an anti-Christ figure?
He is an anti-Christ figure. In fact, the bad ending of this movie happens because he converts his entire cult, potentially you could view it as, because that's what the movie's trying to portray, to a bunch of heretics by introducing them and breaking down their society from that way. They have a lot of things like that too. I got the fat Adelie penguin, however you pronounce them. They're like showing him as he's totally talking out of his ass. He's just like a fake fucking scam artist, basically. They do a lot of stuff like that. This movie hates religion. Anyways, that's my thoughts.
I agree.
Now, Jackson, why was it that you weren't able to get through this movie on our initial watching, do you think? Was it just that fucking boring? Because you passed out like at the 10-minute mark, and we're just out of it throughout basically the entire thing after that.
Oh yeah, I was fucking snoozing. What can I say? I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a really boring movie. I think when I watched it again with Tanichi, we were riffing on it a lot, and because of that, it was more entertaining.
Okay.
We weren't doing a ton of riffing on it because it's just some generic kids movie at the end of the day. There isn't a huge amount to take.
There was this one really jarring scene I really would love to mention.
Go for it.
They really build up him being in, the fucking the like encampment, the enclosure, the zoo.
Yeah.
Right? He's even going crazy, throwing the fish at the wall. But the one little white girl he taps to gets immediately gets him in a release. And that it's the most insane transition, because it's literally like him tapping his feet, the little girl smiles, then everyone's like, holy shit, she's smiling. And then they all take photos, and then he's back in Antarctica.
Yeah, no, they have like some fucking crazy sequence of like a bunch of people, like the government's breaking down, there's riots in the street to save the penguins and stuff. It all happens so fucking quickly. And then when Tanichi and I were watching it, when he's walking back to his tribe, we thought it was a fucking dream. We saw Maria, or whatever her name was, with the big dude and all the kids, and we were like, okay, so he got cucked. He's having a nightmare of his love, cucking him basically, and everybody hating him. We literally thought it was a fucking dream, but no, it wasn't a dream. It was just some fake out with the fucking chick just being like a teacher with the other guy. But we actually were like so confused and baffled at what we had seen in the scenes prior that we actually thought we were watching a dream sequence, and we were like, we rewinded like a couple of times, like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, the ending of this movie is an absolute disaster. It has all these themes they're building on with the environmental stuff, and then it just fucking throws them all at you in like a couple of minutes at the end in the most forced way possible.
They run out of budget very
the ending of this
quickly.
movie is absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
It fucking throws away everything they were building the entire film.
Yeah, 100% the ending for this film is probably the worst part of it.
It's so baffling. Like, how did that happen? There's definitely some good things. I think the cinematography, especially for a 2006 film, is pretty well done for the most part. They have some really good scenes. I think like the scenes where they're getting fucked around with the orcas, or the scenes, of like them doing like the high speed action, like things through the ice, or like when they're walking through like the massive like wind snowstorm. Were pretty atmospheric, and I think graphically this movie holds up relatively well, especially for a 2006 film. But also, I just don't like the main character. I think he's really fucking unlikable and annoying the entire film. I think the plot is pretty generic overall. Most of the characters are really stupid. The Adelie Penguins are kind of fun. I think it's funny that they've got like the guy choking out for like half the film following them, and he's just choking out the entire time on this massive fucking hike through all these death-defying things.
Yeah, that part was fucking baffling to me. I felt like I remembered them just like cutting him loose, like very shortly after they saw him choking.
Nah, he was just choking to death for like a few days on this like massive hike up mountains and shit.
Yeah, like what the fuck was that shit?
Yeah, this movie is
Awful.
average at best and has really disastrous parts of it that bring it down a lot.
Yeah, honestly, like the fucking part where they're like all huddled up in the snow, like all the fathers just carrying the eggs and they're all singing and shit like that, chanting, like fucking, dude, chills, okay? Legitimate chills during that part. Like if you looked at my arms, I would have had goosebumps a mile high, okay? But then, of course it's like all bounced out by them having the gut-wrenching scene, and gut-wrenching in the bad way of me wanting to fucking vomit, of the elephant seals just slurping up their own snot. Like what the fuck is that shit?
Also, and Tanner, I wasn't talking about the elephant seal. I was talking about the sea lion that was chasing him. That's the Robin Williams. Or not Robin Williams. What the fuck was it? Oh, Steve Irwin. I think maybe he was an elephant seal. I don't fucking know. He actually
elephant seals had Australian accents.
I was gonna say, and I'm thinking about it now. The elephant seals did sound more like Steve Irwin. I don't know who the fuck the sea lion was, but I digress. Maybe you're right all along. What can I say?
Now I gotta look this shit up.
Yeah. Tanner, how'd you feel about this movie?
Fuck you guys, I like this movie.
Yeah, why? Give us some reasons.
I think it's a delightful little film that tells a neat little story. I think it's just very cute and cozy, and I can imagine watching this with my kids someday.
Yeah.
I'm vomiting in my mouth right
It's
now.
really bad Footloose starring penguins.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
Footloose is old and boring.
Yeah, just the whole concept of this society is really... I mean, honestly, you gotta suspend your disbelief a little bit here. But you're telling me this whole society is penguins pop out the womb, and they just have some fucking random pop song that's in their head, and that's just like who they are as a person? So weird. I mean, like, they stick with it.
I actually
kind
of like that idea,
personally.
personally.
I'm not saying it's like a downside. I just think it's fucking weird.
Okay.
I don't particularly like it, but it's not like a negative to the film for me. It's just weird. I do think it's kind of stupid that they pop out the women just speaking full English and they're just like totally chill with that. Also, the main character just never fucking molts. How is he able to swim? That's like the whole point of them like molting is that they're able to swim. They're faster with it and they don't absorb the water with their their down feathers anymore, which helps them stay warm while they're under there. It's stupid as shit.
Yeah, and dude, the reason he doesn't molt is so that we can tell him apart from the other penguins, okay? Did you consider that at all?
Yeah, no, they all look the fucking same otherwise. Yeah, no. His design looks stupid, and it doesn't make any sense.
I do agree. I think his design is fucking dumb.
Steve Irwin was the elephant seal. Jackson's retarded.
I'm not retarded. I agreed with you in the end.
Well,
I just knew he was like one of those big blubbery guys, whether that be a sea lion or a elephant seal.
Yeah, it was one of the animals with an Australian accent.
I just looked it up. Fucking emperor penguins don't even, like, when their mating behavior isn't even like chirping or singing. It's like dancing. So Mumbo was right the entire time.
Based. What does that say about this movie? Anyways, any final thoughts? I really don't have a whole ton to talk about this movie. It's just really...
What does it say about society?
Dylan, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Alright, so this is my review of Happy Feet. I remember this being a childhood golden movie. This was an absolute awesome movie when I was a kid. I loved watching it. I liked watching Mumble dance around. Anyway, that's aside the point. I think this movie still looks great for its time. I think the voice acting is amazing. I just think this movie is cute and it's charming. I don't think it's super overbearing on any of its points. And it's just overall a likable movie. And what's crazy is I understand so much more about this movie now, as opposed to when I was a kid. There were a lot of jokes, whether they were visual or audio, you know, something they said that I missed out on. And oddly enough, at the same time, having more in-depth knowledge of, you know, maybe just like not the pop classic songs that were in there, but knowing more songs, I think makes this movie just a little bit more fun. And I think the CGI in this movie, considering a majority, if not all the movie is CGI, minus maybe the parts where they're meeting people. I'm not sure if that town in Antarctica was also CGI. If it was, I think it was pretty well done as well. But I just think the mashing of CGI with reality there was really nicely done. This movie's not too awfully long. I think it's just under. But I think that's fine. This movie didn't feel like it dragged on. I was, you know, smiling through a majority of it. I laughed at it, gave it a couple chuckles. But yeah, no, I really enjoy this movie. I don't even think, it might just be the childhood nostalgia kind of carrying me through it. But even then, I still think this movie was great. I don't really have any other particular thoughts on this movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. So I am going to be giving this movie an A.
Wow, that guy fucking loved it. Ain't that crazy?
Yikers.
Boo!
Insane.
It's a good thing he's not here today.
True. We'd be roasting him alive if he was on this episode.
I mean, what's different from a normal episode?
Yeah, true. That's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Par for
I have
the
a
course, as they say.
question.
What up?
Because I technically watched this with you, Lava, is this my first official review?
Correct.
Yeah, F minus.
Based.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Tanichi, we did actually, I don't know when it was, I think it was like a month ago maybe, we did enact a new system in which your review or your rank doesn't actually count towards it. Like, it still shows on the website, but it doesn't actually count.
you.
It doesn't count, yeah, specifically you. It doesn't count towards the actual overall ranking of the film, unless you've watched like a certain percentage of all the movies that we've seen. So unfortunately, it'll show on the website, but it's not going to actually
What's the
attribute to the overall
percentage?
rank.
3.5?
I think it's like 90%. It's something really high. You have to watch the majority of the movies to have your rank actually count towards the overall.
I'm never
It's basically
appearing on this
TLDR.
fucking podcast again.
Listen, man, if you just go through the backlog and start watching all the movies that appear on the podcast and rank them that same week, you can get her done.
Yeah,
You could catch up. You just have to watch 160 movies, my boy.
Yeah.
You got it. Or not even that. We're at over 200 now.
Yeah, we're over. What are you talking about? You're using like 4 months ago figures.
My bad. For some reason, I still think we've only watched like 150 movies, even though we're well past that at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Tanichi, it's to help, you know, curb like guests coming on here and giving movies ridiculous ranks like F minus, and then, you know, they don't have a chance to like re-rank
This
any point in the
movie
future,
is
so it's just
shit.
permanently
What
blemishing
the fuck are
the
you
film's
talking
rank.
about? What
No,
did you
straight-
give this movie? What did
No,
you
straight-
give this movie?
Let me just say, this rule was enacted specifically because of some disgruntled people that did not like the rank Blake gave to the first Spider-Verse film,
Yeah.
which brought it down from an S+ or only S+ to an S. I think he gave it like an A or
He
something.
gave an A, yeah.
Yeah, and it knocked it down. So yeah, we enacted this rule because like, okay, that's fucking stupid. Your rank's dumb. It shouldn't count. So now it doesn't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of that rule, yours doesn't too.
Which,
But it
to be
still
fair,
shows
you
up on
gave
the
an
website.
F minus, so that also shouldn't count either way. But you know, I'm personally giving this film a C minus.
Never appearing on this fucking podcast.
I like how he says that like that's a threat.
Tanner, what are you giving it?
I'll give it a B.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Nico here. I gave it a D+. I think the ending, I think this is generally like a C minus to your film, but the ending is so rushed and dog shit that is inexcusable for the most part, and it really drags the film down for me. And then, of course, Dylan gave it an A for some reason. What the fuck is this guy smoking? And that landed at a B- overall.
Well, this movie's for kids, so it doesn't have to be good. You can't judge it like an other movie.
I hope he wasn't actually. I'm very curious to actually hear his review. We didn't listen to anything he said. We just got his like final rankings prior to us doing this recording.
So what is it? What's its final ranking then, Jackson?
I already said it, you dumb bitch. It's B-.
Oh, holy shit! Oh my god, that's too high.